Why doesn't my husband put in enough effort? Why? I had to read that. Did you see that? Like, why would I remember that? It's, everybody knows this. Why did I do that? I have the weirdest story to tell you. This is really weird. You're going to think I'm weird, okay? But that's okay. A lot of people think I'm weird, so we're good. Good company. So here's the situation. I wear a lot of ponytails, okay? You know, whenever I, you know, put my hair up, whatever. But when you ever put your hair up, your hair in the ponytail, whatever, and then you turn this way and it hurts, and you turn that way, and you look up and you're like, you know, because the ponytail thing just isn't like working. Okay, fine. So I have what do you call it? Show and tell here. Okay, so fine. So 6 or 7. I always use these ones. Okay, fine. They don't manufacture them anymore. Otherwise, we put a link to them. They don't manufacture them. So about 6 years ago, I went on eBay and I bought 47,000 of these. Okay, so just I'd have them because they're the only ones I could turn my head. Fine. End of story. I'm down to my very few left in this batch. I am very depressed about it. So what did I do? I went and I tried every hair ponytail thing on the planet Earth. Okay, I found one. Fantastic. This is the one I found. Okay, and here's the problem with this. And there is a point to the story, by the way. BT Tubs, there's a point to the story. Okay, so what happened is I found this, and it's even better than the other ones. After 5 years of using the ones from eBay that I bought a whole batch from somebody before they went extinct. By the way, if you ever want to know what is going to go extinct, ask me. I will tell you. My lipstick goes extinct. Whatever you do, whatever it is that I think always goes. It's done for, so doomed. Anyway, so what happened is I got this one. Fine, fantastic, it works. I went to 27 different stores to buy more of these. Not happening. I spent hours and hours and hours on the phone. I reached the people. I reached the what do you call those when you call the corporate headquarters and everything? Nothing. So I'm sitting here. This works. How do I replicate this? What can I do? What can I? So here's why I'm telling you this story. Because many people say to me, Leah, it's beyond hope. It's beyond, you know, my husband, there's no hope in my marriage. He can't change. He doesn't put in the effort. He can't do anything. I've tried everything. And I want you to know there's always something else if you can think outside of the box. I'm not talking about abusive situations or abusive relationships. I'm talking about a relationship. You know, there's always something you can try. So I want to tell you this totally cool life hack. Are you ready for the best ponytail holder you have ever witnessed on the face of the earth? Okay, here it is. Even alive. Hold on, I'm coming. Tights! Look at this. All you do is you go like this. You take the tights, right? You buy a pair of tights. Right? I was trying to replicate that thing. You take the tights, you go like this, and you cut the single. Now, I had to double it up because it was very loose. Best ever. Like you turn your head up, just the best ever. So, what do we learn from this story? Isn't that cool? Like,
buy tights for your husband?
My tights for your husband. The moral of the story is that whatever you think is in your this is reality. There's no hair ponytails on the face of the earth that are going to work. It's not happening. By thinking outside of the box in different ways, we can create a lot of miracles. So, life hack and marriage lesson. How do you like that? Okay, fine. Let's go over last week. Our recap was last week we talked about why am I always so stressed out? We had a great rousing combo last week. It was terrific. So I wanted to say, here's one thing, and this is about this life hack also, is that the people are so stressed out in their life. This one thing I kind of just didn't get to last week. They're so stressed out in their life that they don't think there's they're so stressed and so busy, they don't take the time or the effort, or they don't think there's anything they can do to relieve themselves of that stress. It's horribly sad. So someone needs to press *6 or something like that, or whatever. No. They're not muted, whatever.
Oh, they're not? They're shown.
I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, hold on, yeah.
Anyway, thank you for being here. Very grateful and happy to hear it. Okay, but anyways, the point is that people are so stressed out that they're not. People are. Thank you.
Yes.
People are so stressed out that they're not taking care of their stress. You see that? So what I'm saying is number one, take the time to think about it. That's how I use these tights as my thing. You know what I'm saying? Is the hair, is the ponytail, because it's like thinking, how can I solve this problem? Only by really thinking and concentrating and working on it and davening, praying to God that He can bring you help or whatever, will these be solved. But stress, I have found when I've been talking with women that they feel that doing things to relieve themselves of stress is selfish. I have news for you. It is the most unselfish thing that you can do, because if you can take care of you, you can take care of everybody else. We're so stressed out and wrung out. And if we take care of ourselves and do the things, it's very interesting. Someone said, oh, I need to veg out in order to whatever, and I sit there and binge watch this and that, whatever. And I'm like, I hear it. Maybe that's what she needs to do. Maybe instead, she could get herself a box of paints. She's always wanted to paint. Or, I don't know if you ever play Sudoku. These sound ridiculous when you're dealing with real life major stressors. But I'm talking about little tiny things that we can do to take care of ourselves that we don't take the effort to do. So that was the lesson from last week. Our homework. And then the other big thing was that by having priorities on what's most important, that is first of all, number one, our husband, our man, right? By taking care of our man, we can have and our families, but starting with our husbands, by taking care of our husbands, that quandary that we all have of what should I do? I'm torn. Should I take care of my husband? Should I take care of me? Should I take care of the kids? Should I take care of my mother? What do I do? And that level of stress is so ratcheted down by having an understanding that our husbands is number one. We've looked right through the sources. Our husband is number one. And we're never going to err by taking care of him or ourselves. We're never going to err. It's never going to be the wrong thing to do. And that angst that we all have, what should I do? How should I do it? What should be my priority? Once you make a priority, it's like your stress level just cuts in half. And everything else is, manageable. Okay. That's the end of the topic. Not the end, but, I'm sure it'll come up about why am I so stressed out. The secret of the day for last week was there's always something we can do to improve our own life situation, either logistically or in our thinking. So it's kind of either, logically figuring out ways to do your hair. Flung it at somebody. Thank you. Lawsuit. No, God forbid. I don't like clothes. But anyway, okay, fine. Either logistically by getting it solved. It's okay. It's all right. I'll find it after. I just don't want to lose. Actually, I can buy as many types.
Yeah, exactly. Cut them all.
Isn't that unbelievable? Okay. The homework for the week was drop one task from your to-do list per day or for the week. So was anybody able to drop one task from their to-do list to lower their stress level? Who can answer the homework? Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of see you're talking about prioritize things. I have to actually say prioritize, and I look at my list, and sometimes it's things you have to do, like an appointment, and the things that you would like to do. So I just kind of think what really has to be done. And I didn't get rid of it totally because but it got moved over.
Something that didn't
have to be done that day, or
so you just could exhale a little bit.
Yeah.
It's huge. That's huge. It's huge. So
just make a box around it.
What did it do for your mental health?
It just made me less stressed. Okay, so I just won't do it today. It's fine. I'll do it tomorrow.
Nothing left. No major downside.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the other thing. When you take that off your list, the other things that are left on your list, there's more strength to do them. And not only that, they often go smoother. And not only that, they often go with less stress. And not only that, and here's the little sweet spot, we can actually maybe enjoy doing the errand that we're doing. Instead of why do I have to stand in the bank? Why can't I get someone else to stand in the bank? Who can I delegate this to? This is so annoying, and there's such a long line, and there's no other time but to come when everybody and their mother is in the bank in front of me, right? And there's not one level of enjoyment in that. if you have a certain attitude. If you have another attitude, which is, thank God I can be at the bank. Thank God I'm doing a deposit, or maybe it's girl. Whatever it is I'm here for, I have to go get money for a doctor bill. Thank God I have a kid, or whatever it is. There's a different way to be. Okay, what's your?
No, someone was on us at the market, and we're just saying how there's so much to do, and she's like, I try not to I'm just in the moment, I try to do whatever I'm doing now instead of thinking, and then you do a better job of what you're doing instead of thinking, okay, I have to get to this because I have to go somewhere else. It's just
focus.
This is what I'm doing now. It's not going to help to think about the next thing.
Yeah, it's true, and we're never there when we're there.
All participants are muted and unmute themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. We're actually going to put the teleconference line on a Q&A so that if anyone wants to join into this conversation, you can.
Q&A session has started.
If you have anything to add, *6 on your phone and you'll get into the queue.
Yeah, we love questions, whatever. Thank you very much for joining us, and we are.
Or comments if you did the homework and removed one thing off your list.
Right, that's good. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so good. So anybody else able to do the homework, pulling stuff off their list?
I did, but it's funny, we were just out at a bunch of people, we were talking about it, and it was Purim and it was Shabbos, and everyone had so much to do. So there were kind of two types of personalities. I'm of the personality that I'll have no problem, I had a big Purim and a big Shabbos and lots of people, and it was a lot of cooking. So I said, so I'm just gonna go out and buy some takeout for a few things. That way I'm gonna be able to really enjoy everyone that's there, and I don't want to be stressed. And some people just can't do that. They just can't do that. But it's a personality. I don't get it, but I get that there's different personalities. So so I said, to me, the most important thing is that I should be calm and I should be able to enjoy everyone. And if I'm exhausted and I can't even sit down to enjoy them because I'm busy doing stuff, then what's the point of it all,
Right. I mean, I've had people say that, and they ask, they're afraid someone will say, "Did you make this? Is
yeah, and I'm so proud of the fact that I prioritize what I think is important. I think it's more important to be with everyone and enjoy it and be a person. So, but I see that some people just it's not in them, So I guess there's other things that that they don't have to do, and everyone has to figure out their own thing. But it was interesting to see that really it's something that everyone has to figure out on their own, because
what would be your suggestion for people who can't buy,
I don't know, because I'm of the nature that I'm very proud that I can. So I think it's great that I can just,
and
and
something off their list. Something. I mean,
so I don't know. So it need,
So much more healthy to be that way.
But if you're not, there's got to be a way to make your life work just the same, and.
well, there's another issue also that we all deal with, which is self-esteem. Do I deserve this? Why, to make a kugel cost $1.50 and to buy one is $15, whatever, I don't know,
Right.
math, but I'm just saying,
For sure.
it's hard to judge in your mind what's
It's true.
the right thing to do, and,
Right.
and that has to do with, being responsible about the budget, but it's also about, am I worth it,
Right.
It's kind of like, even when you need a tissue, and you take one tissue, you take two tissues, or 3 tissues, you feel like, whatever, there's a spider. And all bets are off, it's like 47 tissues, whatever it is, okay? But the thing is that, there's a part of it that God gave me a certain amount of money to spend, and this would be an amount of money that, I'm
Right, I
going to
can see
show.
people either they don't have the money or they're grappling, even if they do with that.
Right.
Or
how-
like they say,
even
just
somebody who
try it
doesn't have
once
money,
and see.
even somebody
No,
who doesn't have
even
money has to budget where
Right.
the money they do have goes.
But
And
when
that's
you
really
see
tough.
yourself being calmer and your whole household is, it's an effect that ripples onto the whole household and your whole life and everyone's life and well-being, then it's kind of a small price to pay.
That is the beauty of our tradition. It's so gorgeous because you never have to wonder what to do, just what's going to bring shalom into my home. What's going to bring shalom? And I would go so far as to say, and maybe we need to find a world to back me up on this, but I will go so far to say is if you went and you spent $11 that you really shouldn't have for shalom, so that you wouldn't start screaming at the kids when they came in or screaming at your husband, God, whatever. God will give you that $11 back. So there are sources for that. I don't have it. Maybe in the book they're in there of exactly whatever. But you can rest assured, whatever you do, whatever action you do for shalom, for peace, to keep peace in your home, God will take care of you. You're going to bless him. We know that for a fact. So whether they give you the exact $11, or maybe you're supposed to do the things, or in front of the things, or behind the scenes, that'll take care of itself. Fantastic.
I actually reverted back to old self today. And of all days, right before coming to the class, disaster. But I completely did not prioritize my husband this morning, and I had to get the baby ready before I was leaving to this class, and I had a painter in the house, and my housekeeper was a little bit out of it. One of those days where they walk in and they look like they need a bed rather than having to clean the house. So you're sort of looking like, okay, what am I trying to relieve from her? And there was a lot going on. And again, I had to be out of the house by 10:50. That was my deadline because I want to be on time. And so here I am running to a marriage class.
I can see where this is going.
And my husband today is working from the house. And we spoke about this already, that when we work from the house, it gets a little bit sticky. He came upstairs at about 10:25 and he said, can I drop our son off at his work? And I said, yeah, sure. I just have to leave by 10:50. So it seems like there's enough time, totally go. Then I went to deal with the baby, and as I went to deal with her, I see that the painter is in her room, and he's painting, and he's all set up, like everything. It would take him another 15, 20 minutes just to move everything apart to go somewhere else. It's another
He wasn't supposed to be there.
He wasn't, and I guess she sent him up there, whatever it was. Everything was, it's just like all the wrong things.
Thank you.
And so I'm sitting there with the baby going, where am I putting her? I'm putting her, and I have a porta crib in our room. So I said, okay, I'm going to put her into our room. And as I'm going to nurse her and put her into our room, I'm thinking, this is such a bad idea because my husband works out of this room. This is his desk. We have a desk in our room, and this is sort of makeshift office when he's home, and I'm going to be putting her down to bed, and and I'm literally sitting there going, with this in my head.
You couldn't move the porta crib?
No, so wait, I actually went into the other bedroom, my son's room, to look, and it's a disaster zone. There's I would have to sit there and move things around in his laptop and his wires, and there's light all over. It was like just not conducive. So I'd have to actually put work into that. And so I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to take her porta crib and I'm going to move it into my little dressing area. So it's not in the actual room. It's a little off.
Could he work there and make noise and make
Not really.
Okay.
Maybe if he's really quiet like a mouse. If he works without clicking. If he doesn't actually pick up the phone to speak, if he just sits there like a mute, yes, you probably without waking up. But anything else, he probably would wake up, even though she's, in my mind, I sort of justified, I'm going to put her into the dressing area and she'll be fine, and he could come in. And I even moved out his briefcase, and I said, worst case scenario, he can work downstairs, whatever. Anyways, I had this all going on, and as I'm fine, I finally get her. It's literally 10:47, and I'm running downstairs, and I hear my son coming in, and so I know once he sees me and I'm gonna have to leave, he's gonna have a meltdown, and that's another 10 minutes of drama. So I quickly sneak around through the back, and I call my husband, and I said, you're here, right? And he's literally 1 minute away. I'm pulling up. I said, great. Okay. He pulls up. He says, oh, so you're going to drive? I said, no, please drop me off. I'm already running a little late. I don't have to worry about parking. And okay. So we get in the car, we start driving. And I said, oh, by the way, I put the baby into our room, into the little dressing area because the other room was taken. And he goes, what? I mean, I'm working today from the house. And my phone, I said, yeah, so what's the big deal? I moved your briefcase out. And he goes, my work phone is in that room. And how am I supposed to make calls? And I said, okay.
So wait, let me ask you, did you have a choice at this? Did you have a choice? Could you have done something else?
Yes, not be on time. That was my choice. That was really my choice. No, but really, because I would need 20 minutes to organize my son's room, to get the porta crib in there, to move everything away so I could get it. I would need the painter to give me 20 minutes to move his stuff.
Right.
Those are the two choices.
But when he got into the car, you could have said, "I really."
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, that no. Oh yeah, no.
You did or did not?
No, I did not. I told you I reverted back to me. I reverted to old me, pre the marriage class for the last 2 years. And I said to him, so he goes, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Let's not talk about it. I'll just drop you off. It's fine. It's fine. I'll do something else. I'll figure it out. And instead of just doing what you just said, apologizing and saying, I'm so sorry, it's only going to be an hour, then I'll come and I'll try to help you figure things out. And she sleeps till about 1:30, so it'd be a while.
Oh.
Yeah, it'd be like a chunk of change that I was, it was bad. It was a bad thing. But I felt sort of uptight and bothered, and I wanted to make myself feel justified, and I was like, I'm sorry. So I said, okay, what's the big deal? So you need a phone? Don't make any phone calls. He goes, but I gotta call ADD. I said, okay, so you call ADD in 2 hours, but they close. He goes, this is why I did not want to have this conversation, because you're gonna justify everything that I can do to try to figure out how to make it work. I said, well, you know what? The bottom line is, this is our house and not your work. So you need to accommodate me and my schedule and the baby, and not your job.
Okay, this is good.
It was very bad. But guess what? Guess what? I came on time.
Okay. I want to get to our topic today, and it's so interesting because our topic is a little bit from last week, is a little bit, we just melded it into today's topic.
Disaster.
So
It was
I
a
wanna get to
disaster. I'm
today's
shameful.
topic,
I'm in the,
but-
I need the shameful. Yeah, the closure.
Okay, so the question, ladies, let's.
Wait, and there's also actually,
You see? Oh, there's someone who's actually,
Wants to ask.
yes.
Okay, good.
yes,
Yeah.
maybe
Come
she
on
wants
the
to say how bad I am.
Okay.
God, please, I'm ready. Throw the
Welcome,
tomatoes.
Thank you for joining the Ladies Talk Show. Go ahead, you're on mute. Or not.
Just speechless.
She's speaking.
It's not there.
Hello?
Is this plugged in right?
Hello, do you hear us? We're in Q&A. Yeah, she's unmuted.
Is she on?
Unmute.
Yeah, you're unmuted now. You can speak. Hello? Okay. I guess we're gonna try to bring
Okay,
her
you
back.
can type it in. You can type your question in. Okay, so is that?
Yeah, we're gonna try to get her back.
Okay, so here's the situation. Let's try and, is it decompose? No, deconstruct.
Deconstruct. Oh, God.
Deconstruct, okay. Let's deconstruct. We know where it went wrong. Sarit woke up this morning.
Yes, old Sarit woke up this morning. Yes, not new Sarit. Yes, oh my God. You know what? It's all your fault. You were gone a week. I missed a week. I was a little bit offbeat, like I tell you.
So, all right. So we see where, thank you for sharing your story. I've never done anything like that. So let's just think. Where could you have done better?
When I got into the car, for sure. I could have literally gone in and been, I'm so sorry. You don't understand. The painter was in her room. I could have given him a back story. No, he knew nothing. He went to take my son.
Right.
I was putting the baby to sleep. He had no information. He didn't know the painter was in the room. He didn't know that my son. As far as he was concerned, I selfishly put my baby in our room without taking him into consideration. No, I was justifying the fact that it's not his office and he needs to accommodate us. And he drove me. And guess what? Wait. Not only did he drive me, but as I was turning off my phone because we were starting this class, I saw that he texted me, when do you need to be picked up? And I didn't even respond because I turned it off. So he probably thinks now the whole hour I was just. It's a disaster.
But listen, we all, for the most part, are. Some of us are aliens, but for the most part, most of us are human, and like these things happen. And by walking Sari through this, we're going to see where she could have saved herself, where she could have turned it around. Like, was it possible to? There were many opportunities for it to shift and turn. When were those, and what could she have done? So let's reverse. There was almost nothing she could do. She had to be on time, because otherwise I would kill her. So the thing is, wouldn't we all miss her? Hello.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so the thing is that you were between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
Have any of you who are listening ever been between a rock and a hard place where you didn't have a choice? We've all been there, right? Is it many times a day? Thank you. Okay. She was completely had no choice of what she was doing. It's the vice was squeezing her head. Okay. The stress level, what can I do? Why did God put me in this position right now? Why am I having to deal with this? And the big thing, I shouldn't have to be dealing with this.
Right.
The first place we go, I shouldn't have to. So here, this is where you're in this typical circumstance we're all in. Now, let's look at the juncture. First juncture is if you're in your son's room, you realize that's not happening. I have to do this. There's no choice. I have to put the baby here. At that point, what would, it could have been possible you communicated with your husband then. And then you texted him, yikes, what you could have texted him as you're putting the baby, you know you have to do it. Yikes, what should I do? The painter is painting the baby's room. Our son's room has wires all over it, not safe. I have no choice. Do you have any plan B? And I have to, BTW, I have to leave here in 37 seconds.
Right.
That text, even as you're tucking her in bed in the wrong place, okay, he text back, don't worry, we'll deal with it. He could have, at that point, sharing the pain with him would have made all the difference. That's one person.
She was in a rush. I feel like when you're rushed,
Yeah, you
you
can't.
think,
No, you don't think. You don't think. You're just so stressed. You're like, yeah, there's just so stress.
What you said, don't worry. When you get in the car, no, that's a bad idea.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
no time to
was,
engage
yeah,
in that.
I was still feeling so overwhelmed.
It's more reasonable to expect. Then she's going into a conversation. It's gonna be
Yeah, I was
later.
so I was feeling really overwhelmed. I think really where I messed up so badly was when I got into the car. I had the ability to apologize
I'm so
and to
impressed
make
with
it.
where I think you hit the nail on the head. Because for me, I would have totally gone where you're going. Like, it's our house, and that's the room, and people sleep in houses, and that's kind of how it had to go. Okay.
You wanted to like let him know that? Like while you're putting down?
No, because you're
yeah.
trying to justify yourself, like, okay, I'm not in the wrong here, even though because you feel guilt, because we just always feel guilty when something didn't go right. I think where you hit the nail on the head for me, which was so bad, is you right away realize now, like, his perspective on it. Like, most of the time we're just thinking of our perspective. But when you stop for a minute and you realize, like, oh, he doesn't even realize what I was going through, because if he did, obviously he would care. I just didn't inform him, and how could he know that, I wouldn't know if the tables were reversed. I'd be acting the same way. Just stopping and realizing that, like, oh, let me explain him the dilemma rather than just being angry that he's not already understanding, because so often we do that. We just expect them to know, because in our mind, of course I thought it through and this is what makes sense.
Right, because
I'm not gonna just do something
exactly, that's it.
Reason,
Because he should know
that
that as his wife,
that.
I understand that's his office. I know he's working from the
Right.
house
So
today,
much smarter
and
than that.
obviously there's a reason why I had to do what I did, and I
Exactly.
purposely put it on the, like,
Right.
all these calculations are going through my head that you should
Exactly.
already
But
know.
hold on, but there's one thing, it's true, except that maybe he thinks, there was an incident about 2 months ago where you were upset that he worked from home and you wanted him to help out.
Right,
or whatever. You had the whole big thing.
Right. Yeah, no,
Right. If you ever wanted a reason to be
it's all recorded.
Okay, so
Remember 2
that,
months ago when you had that issue? Right over there.
and see right here. I said, go back, ladies, and go do that. Very, very important. Okay, so but hold on a second. But the thing about it is that at that moment, he could have thought, is she being passive aggressive? Are we?
Right, is this
Could
going
be,
to be
yeah,
assaulted
yeah.
him? Right.
Could be.
Maybe it's like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, like,
yeah,
go
for sure,
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
he didn't have
Yeah,
that.
for sure, for
So,
sure.
okay, so let's replay. I'm your husband, we're doing role-play here. I'm the husband, you get in the car. Hi, dear, I dropped my son off. Oh, let's get you to class.
I'm so sorry. You don't understand. I went to put Ashira to bed, and the painter's in her room. He's completely set up. It would take him a good 20 minutes to move somewhere
Where is
else.
this going?
And Danielle's
Where
room
are
is
you
a
going with this,
disaster.
Serena?
And they just and Ashira is like really wants to go to sleep, and she's so tired. And I hear Michal Mary downstairs. I know he's gonna come up to start bothering me in a second. So I gotta get her into bed, and so I put her
Why
to
do you put him in the
sleep
sex room?
in wires, lots and lots of wires, and you know all this stuff around, and I'd have to
She's
move
asleep.
it.
The wires are gonna bother
No.
her.
To move the thing in, I'd have to climb over 100 wires to get to it.
So
He's got all
why
this
would you
stuff
do
open,
that?
and I really have to get to my marriage class. I have to put my marriage first.
So like you learn about wires to keep your husband.
I have to learn about what to do in this situation.
I was giving you a super hard time. You actually
Yeah, I really think I would have given him that, and I'm going to do that. I
So
really will
what
as soon as the class is
What
over.
stops you from when you like? Here's the thing I don't understand.
Stress,
When you-
and you're rushing, and you're
Yeah, when you're
stressed.
rushing and stressed, you can't take your phone and start engaging in a texting.
Also, like, it's
conversation.
very
Yeah, the
annoying
texting
for
I do
you.
is like-
It's very annoying for you that you're rushing to get everything done for everybody else. Like, it wasn't like she was saying, like, my makeup
Right.
wasn't coming out right. You know, like,
exactly.
she's putting the baby in it, she's
Exactly.
setting up the painter in the
Right.
house, she's
So
you
he
didn't
doesn't
have to do it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
so that
yeah,
he
yeah,
could work. So
yeah,
it's like, you know, and then you just get like,
And the truth is, that's the problem, is when I got into the car and I kind of like said, oh, I put the baby in the thing, and I was sort of waiting. I guess if he would have said, oh, why'd you do that? Oh, I kind of had to work there. If he would have gone from that avenue, I probably would have then gone into the story, but he sort of went into, what? Are you kidding me? I can't work when the baby, like he went into the
defensive,
defensive, and I was like, what? No way, Jose.
I think expecting him to be anything but
Yes,
that.
I know. That's the point, though. I was expecting to not. I know.
Like to be superhuman.
Beyond to not be human.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I know.
all right,
Dunce
we'll
cap,
solve that.
tomatoes,
so
whatever
we'll
you
make
want.
tomatoes. No, it's good. Okay, so you'll make rectification.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing that. When we see, here's the thing. You ever go to a hotel and they royally mess up? You know, like you get there and there, you know, the pillow has hairs on, whatever. Whatever. And it's not every hotel, every restaurant, everybody makes mistakes. It's how they handle the mistakes that make all the difference. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, we're moving your room, we're giving you free lifetime membership to our hotel forever, whatever it is. How they fix it is what is all it is. So same with us. You blew it, move it. You're gonna go back.
Yeah.
And we see where she blew it and why she blew it and the stress level. That's the thing. The stress level is what ratchets it up. When we're sitting there, ladies and gentlemen, playing mahjong, which I'm sure all of us do all the time.
Mahjong.
We just hang out, we just do nothing. You sit by the pool. I'm sure we are all doing it every day. When we're relaxed, we don't lose it with people. When we're well rested, well fed, have a little bit of a hike or a jog or whatever, we don't lose it with people. When we lose it with people, it is when our stress level is up to here. So again, by doing some of the things to take care of ourselves and by also recognizing what's the most important priority, hopefully we'll ratchet bring our stress levels down and we'll be working on that. Okay, fine. Let's get into today's topic. It took us a while to get here, but we are here. And this is a very powerful one. Why doesn't my husband put in enough effort? So I'm starting off with a question, okay? Question. Why doesn't a husband put more effort in? What stops a husband from putting effort in? Callers on the line, we'd love to hear from you. Or Facebook people, type in a question. The question is, why doesn't the husband put in effort in? What's stopping him? What's slowing him down? Why isn't he, like, you know, on his game? Why does it feel like we're always the one to apologize first, to bring it up, to handle the issue, to do the stuff that needs to get done? Why is it always this? What stops us? Let's hear. What do you think?
Well, I think that, I just thinking back, in the beginning, before, we have these classes and we learn how to, accept everything and receive. A lot of times things aren't done the way you wanted, or, in the beginning of marriage, you can really shoot someone down. You could say, oh, you brought the wrong thing from the store, or you could say the right thing, or I didn't want it to go that way, or I didn't want you to put the baby in that way, and I'll just do it myself, and then you end up doing things yourselves, and you end up creating a situation that you don't want, that you ended up creating, because if everything's not done your way and the way you wanted it, and you let people know that, then I wouldn't either want to be part of that, I would also want to stay away. So
She hit the nail totally.
Yeah,
that we covered that a lot in marriage class, which is the fact of enough. Enough already. Like, I tried, everything I do isn't right anyway. Why should I wash the dishes? It's too soapy. It's not soapy enough. It's, it's got stuff on it. You can't put a dish back that way. Okay, forget it. So that's a biggie. What else?
Also, their genetic makeup, meaning men are not the same. They're not as complicated as women. They're very simple. So they don't want to hash things out 100 times, and they just want to give a solution. It should be over, done, move on. And we want to go into so we never think they're doing enough, because it's never enough to what we expect in our standards. Even if they were starting at the same playing field when you're in seventh heaven, this is the most amazing thing in the whole world, right? When you start, even just that point, you're always doing more. You're always giving more love. You're always doing more. When you think about him, you have all these extra emojis flying around, and he's got whatever, smile. There, he's done. Or a little heart. We're just genetically made differently.
That's where the woman has her feet on to understand deeper and to want more. And so we're more passionate naturally.
Fantastic. And also more focused on connecting. And that's, it's not men, they're disconnected. It's just not their main work.
Also, with the focus, we actually we make the time during the day to actually, if you take an hour out of your week even to focus on that, really set your whole week in motion. Men don't have the actual time, or it's not available as much, I guess, that they're talking about improving their connection.
Yeah.
So they're not focused,
they're not taking a class on that.
They're not, so it's not on the forefront of their minds as much. So it's slightly different. It's just different. Their expectations are different.
And working on yourself as a older, more
Right. It's all the stuff. It's you want things to run smoothly, but getting into the
Nitty-gritty.
nitty-gritty
the
lines.
point you don't feel like it's their job, because they're just out doing their work, and that's part of the home.
No, and also they take us really at face value. If you go somewhere in the car, you go to a wedding or something, you're at the wedding and you turn to your husband and say, I'm so tired. And it's okay, great. And he'll continue doing his thing and talking. You just told him you're tired. If you said that to a girlfriend, she'd be like, oh, do you want to go home? Or you had enough? Let's leave. I'm ready to leave. He'll totally you didn't say to him, I'm so tired, I want to go home. You said, I'm tired. Great. I'm happy. I'm drunk. What? If we're expressing emotions, we all have different emotions. It's a totally different, world.
Just a different world.
Yeah.
So this is good. We're starting to tease apart, why the husband doesn't put in effort. I want to tell you a little story. I had a student who called me this week, actually 2 weeks ago, and so she feels her husband doesn't put in a lot of effort. And she's a what's her name?
Oh.
What I need a name.
Oh gosh. We gotta come up with names. Gail.
Gail. Okay, Gail. So Gail works at a clothing store, And she works about 30 hours a week, so it's stressful, but it's doable, it's manageable. And she comes home at night, and her husband doesn't really help her with the kids at night, but she said it's okay. He helps a little, and given that he works 40 or 50 hours a week, it's okay. She's okay with that. What she's not so okay with is his emotional effort in the relationship. So she said, he lets everything slide, and she's like, so much can slide, and then it slides off, there's nothing left. So to give you an example, so she said we were at somebody's house for Shabbos lunch, and we were sitting there, and he bit into the challah, and he says, "This is the best challah I ever had in my life." She's like,
Next to yours.
Of course, thank you. Right. So she said it was so, like she was seeing it, like prickles going up the back of her neck, like she couldn't believe he actually said that. And she's like, he's just a dumb guy, whatever. We don't think guys are dumb. They're geniuses. We really don't. We don't. This is not a bash
He's
guy.
just a guy.
This is not a guy thing. It's just, the ramifications of every little thing he says and sensitivity, whatever, it's not necessarily his strong suit. Fine. But she's more, after she, calmed down a little bit, so we're walking home to a friend's house, and she said, really kind of, when you said that line about is the best challah I ever had in my life, it kind of hurt my feelings. And she was really proud of herself how she handled it. She didn't scream at him, what did you say such a thing? Whatever, it's her phone, whatever. Might work. No, but anyway, she said, it really kind of hurt my feelings. And he said, well, I didn't mean anything by it. That was his answer. Well, I didn't mean anything by it. Okay, so now we're back to harmony? No, I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. So she pressed him on it. She said, no, it really felt like you're saying that was an insult to my challah, and it was also a little embarrassing because I would think that's what they thought. Like
He probably just was giving her a compliment. He didn't think. He probably that's
right. And best I ever had in my life is an expression or whatever,
Right.
I'm just trying to compliment. But to her, he said it in front of the whole table of people.
Right. And so she was sitting there debating in her mind when he said, no, I didn't mean that by it. Should I let it go? She's like, no, I can't let it go. I can't. I'm just whatever. So she pressed him on it, and she said, it really hurt my feelings. It was in front of other people. So he said, all right, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, that wasn't an I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was not an I'm sorry. That was like, and then the combo was over. Like, there was nowhere else to go with that. Whatever. So she's sitting with it all, wondering how she's going to handle what she's going to do. That night, she thinks it's a perfect thing to say to him. And she said, because I guess he's into barbecue. She said, listen, I don't mean to bring this up again, but I can't let it go because I'm kind of upset about it. What if I were to wear it at people's house and I said, this is the best barbecue chicken I ever tasted? And let me remember what he said. So then he said, oh, come on, are we still on that again? Mm-hmm. I told you I was sorry. So my question for you ladies, and anybody in the call listening or on the Facebook, you can type in a question. Is she overly sensitive, or is he just not sensitive enough? Both? Okay.
And they're both allowed to be that way. That's how they are. There's nothing wrong with it. They're entitled to their feelings, but they need to learn how to communicate so that they both feel understood.
She can't get, she
Right,
can't
she
get
can't
to
let it
harmony.
go.
She can't let it
But
go.
you can't tell her to just let it go. That's not an answer
Your
to
feelings
someone.
are hurt. Someone's
Yeah.
hurt. Can't say I'm
That
sorry.
is, she's entitled. If that's how she feels, then should be more sympathetic.
His intuition should be to say he didn't mean it, even if he did mean it. Not just, I'm sorry. You should say I didn't mean it like that. Obviously yours is better.
It goes to deep.
No,
That's a woman talking. I don't know if a man could.
You can't just tell an isolated story. There's something in the relationship that she feels.
Right,
Like,
I think so
like
too.
someone else would be like, oh, besides mine, of course. I'd make a joke out of it. There's something more to it.
No, or someone
I
else
don't
not
know
with
that.
it.
I don't follow
Yeah, no, what she's saying is there must be more
Something
times.
more in the
where
She's
she-
not
relationship.
Right.
she's not feeling appreciated enough across the
Right,
board.
Yeah,
meaning
that
she's not
feeling
feeling that
not
emotional
just
feeling in general, because the
Right.
truth is, the challah thing
It's
is,
not about
it's
the
so,
challah.
sort of small in
Yeah, she
comparison.
that she must either
Yeah.
she feels
Yeah.
like maybe he
I
does
agree.
that in other areas compared like says
Well,
oh,
she said that
does-
he's very, everything rolls off, and he doesn't really have any.
But I think she doesn't have appreciation, she doesn't feel appreciated with enough stuff altogether that she's so depleted that